good or you're not good.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
It's more than just a hobby, it's a sense of identity.
It's a respect thing.
It's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race your car.
Racers will do anything for their passion.
The guns, the women, the cars. This is what made me want to become an actor.
Not just getting, pretty little girls to, stand around the cars.
Cops! You got that chaos thing down.
It's pretty darn testosterone enhanced. And I like it.
I got it on the internet. See a cool air intake.
There was a magazine article that Scott Stuber at Universal saw. They introduced me to the article, and I thought this was just a great opportunity to enter the whole subculture of these cars and people, and it was a great idea for a movie.
One of the things that's interesting about this world is it's really a meritocracy. If you can design and race a car that will do the quarter mile in less than 10 seconds, you get everybody's admiration and everybody's money in a bet. Basically, you have a great car or you don't have a great car.
It's more than just a hobby, it's a sense of identity. And their identity is reflected in these cars that may have started out as junk piles or leftovers from their parents. And they've turned into something that they're proud of.
If you can take your mom's Civic and add another $9,000 or $10,000 to it and wind up with a high-performance racing car, that's within reach of most kids.
How much horsepower?
800 horsepower. Let me just explain to you, there's about 200 cars here. This car can beat any car.
And out of that has come a new subculture. And that subculture is going to just keep growing.
I started talking to Rob Cohen and Doug Claiborne and Mick Rogers, and they really wanted to immerse themselves in the culture and find out everything they could about the nuts and bolts of these import cars.
Besides the cars, they wanted to learn more of the lifestyle aspect of it. The music, the video games, the clothes, whatever youth culture was involved with it.
We went to some of these races, and it's a very impressive sight.
Ironically, we spent most of our time running from the cops.
Go, 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 go!
All of a sudden, helicopters come by, and there's flashing the lights, and cops start showing up. Gotta be out.
I think racers must have some kind of telepathy, because it's not like they're handing out flyers or like, this is where we're going, or these are the directions, or follow me. They disperse and then reunite and regather somewhere else. It's bizarre.
I think you start because you want to find other people that have the same love that you have.
Welcome to Race Wars.
We had about 1,500 Asian cars, imports, with drivers in a scene that we called Race Wars. And probably 1,000 extras or so that day.
I think they put flyers out and they announced it on the internet, but the amount of people that showed up and with their, cool cars with the gadgets and the cars are hopping like they're in some rap video.
Enjoy yourselves, just be yourselves. There'll be lots of cameras floating around. Gonna shoot until the sun goes down.
Rob and the casting people were using authentic people right off the street. They were using those people who do this on a daily basis. They were using their cars. They were using their wardrobe.
We had cars lining both sides of the street for probably about a half a mile. It's over 200 cars, and I don't know how many extras, because in each car probably came at least 2 or 3 people, if not more.
It's kind of like youth culture, it's everything rolled into one. I mean, people like to race, they like to look good, they want to be noticed.
Just give me props, that's all I want, baby.
There are actual girls out there who have been racing for a long time. Feels like it's about time. I'm tired of seeing the chicks go like this so that the guys can race.
So what you see on screen is an authentic representation of what goes on every weeknight and every weekend night on the highways and byways of America.
It becomes like a family thing. You have fun racing, but at the same time, when you're back at the pits, it's like You're with friends, you're with family.
It's a cool world. I love the realm.
The film so honestly and so accurately depicts this world. We haven't seen this world. We haven't seen this culture on film.
I think a lot of mainstream people will start to understand this youth culture that does this.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time. For those 10 seconds or less, I'm free.
In a sense, a car is a symbol of freedom.
They're canvases on which we can create images of speed and beauty.
It's as important as the cars to be sexy as the actors to be sexy, because the cars are co-stars of the movie.
We got fast cars and we got muscle.
They were very careful in the selection of the cars that they used, cars that were icons in this industry.
No one gets locked out. Spare keys for all.
These cars really are a representation of the legendary cars of our time.
Some juice, baby, some juice.
You're looking at cars that do somewhere between 140 and 180 miles an hour.
Hopefully we stay alive in one piece.
It's pretty crazy. 157 is fast.
The cars, they don't have speedometers. Because if they had speedometers, the racers wouldn't be going that fast.
Like, I don't care how fast I'm going, as long as I'm beating the guy. As long as I can't see the guy left or right of me, it's kind of like, that's okay, you know?
They have no rear view mirrors because they never look back. And they have no speedometer because they never take their eyes off the road, and they feel how fast they're going. They feel their engine. How, as a filmmaker, are you going to dramatize that? I just had the idea of going down Vin Diesel's arm into the stick shift, into the fuel injection engine, to the actual explosion of the NOS, of the nitrous oxide, which gives the car its instant boost.
I need NOS.
You wanted more NOS? You got more NOS.
Think of it as adrenaline in a bottle. When you hit that button, it takes what is chemically adrenaline for your engine and dumps it in there. And suddenly you have double or even triple the horsepower.
See ya!
Is it safe? Yes, when used properly, it's safe in a drag race in a controlled environment. On the street, it's on the edge.
You're lucky that 100 shot of NOS didn't blow the welds on the intake.
Speed, it's intoxicating, and you know, men want to do it and women want to be there for it.
We're going to try to take speed and the illusion of speed, which is very difficult to capture on film, and take a new leap into making you feel the actual experience of 170 miles an hour on a city street.
You're attracted to the idea of controlling that speed. On green, I'm going for it.
It's definitely adrenaline enhanced. It's freaking cool. I like it.
I think every movie that's going to be a success has to have surprising elements. In this film, one of the surprises is a cast of real depth and a cast about to break in many different ways.
It's your car.
The first character cast was Paul Walker. I thought that Paul had a McQueen-esque ambiance around him, you know, that was beginning to emerge as he was taking that final leap from teen heartthrob to manhood.
Yeah, I think every kid at one time or another, every boy anyways, has thought about being a cop. I've always been into cars. I get to be a cop and a race car driver, so I really get the 1-2 combo.
You know, he's very comfortable to work with, and he doesn't have an ego, and he's not difficult in any way.
I love doing the action stuff. Initially, I tried to get in with Dom because he's one of the suspects. He teaches me everything about driving. He more or less takes me under his wing. And so I end up respecting him for that.
Thought if I got in your good graces, you might let me keep my car.
You are my good graces, but you ain't keeping your car.
Who could play Dominic, the king of the racers, king of the streets, the anti-hero, Vin Diesel, in a minimal way, can create an enormous amount of energetic presence. And that truly is the foundation of Dominic.
You almost had me. You never had me. You never had your car.
Dominic is a person that has to be tough because it's the only way that he knows how to survive, and it's the only way that he knows how to take care of the ones he loves. He's got friends that have accumulated over the years to form somewhat of a family. Because you were the first out of everybody here to reach in to get the chicken, you say grace. Their appreciation for racing and their ability in racing, that's the one thing that kind of unifies them all.
Mia is Dominic's sister, and she's also Paul Walker's love interest.
The intelligence that Jordana brings to her part makes that relationship a very fascinating one to watch.
You know, my brother likes you. Usually doesn't like anybody.
She has a kind of remote, almost unknowable beauty.
Jordana Brewster's such an amazing person and an amazing actress that it's very easy to assume that role of a bigger brother.
You break her heart, I'll break your neck.
Michelle Rodriguez has burst out as a new female force to be dealt with. We didn't really have a part for her, and we started to write a part, this part of Letty, and then I evolved it further to become Vin Diesel's love interest.
I play basically the girl who's like into cars and who's part of like the group, you know, who they pick on all the time, and it's kind of like that on set and off.
You know, she came out here all toughness and attitude.
Ow! Pack it up before I leave tread marks on your face.
Like many people who are like that, she has a very sweet nature.
I mean, it's really cool. I get to race. I mean, he's been really open-minded. He let me do a lot of things that weren't originally in the script.
Very, very proud and happy that she's in our film. We're very lucky to have her. It's a very seminal cast, and maybe years later, people look back on this film like we look at American Graffiti and go, look at all those people who sort of emerged from this movie.
This is the posse.
Yeah. I've heard of method acting. Yeah. It's like method directing. I think the director's most important job is the tone of the film.
Put the gun down now! You are the cop! You're the cop, Brian!
I don't believe that the tone of the set is the tone of the movie.
He's assertive, but at the same time, he's very, very calm. So that everyone around him can be as stressed as they want, but he's very calm, which is a miracle for directors, because they're the ones, I think, with the most pressure in this sort of situation.
When you're asking 150 people to cooperate, to work well together, the looseness is conducive to that.
Just doing a scene where Rob does a cameo as a pizza man.
We ran out of money before this part was cast. What the hell's going on around here?
Street's closed, pizza boy. Find another way home.
I'll take care of you, pizza boy.
Our goals for each day are very specific, but if there's a little jocularity,
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vin Diesel.
if there's a little friendly interaction, we're just, you know, putting the lubricant on the ball bearings that make the whole machine turn.
Just the way it is.
My job is to keep that tone in front of the camera while keeping the machinery that's making the film, the men and women who are all collaborators of mine to make this movie, work very easily together to achieve a common purpose. A great day. When that happens, you have a wonderful experience making the movie, and then you present the audience a wonderful experience as they watch the movie. All right, check the gates on that. We're not doing that again.
On The Fast and the Furious, I saw some of the best stunt coordinators do work that I will forever be in awe.
Visually, this movie is bitchin'. The way the car stuff's being shot, I don't think anyone's ever really seen anything like this.
We really got footage that have put the actors at that level with like Steve McQueen, who can drive, and they don't have to drive because I am. You go to tow someone, it's always slow. It's always like you can't do anything with a big wide trailer. My idea was to make rig, which basically an elongated van. It's actually much more effective because you can go faster, you can slide it. I went out on a limb because I
could have been a goat, but I'm not because everyone's digging it. It's going to be the new standard, I think, for chase footage, putting actors in the chase.
We went out with Mick Rogers, who's the stunt coordinator, and learned all the tricks.
How'd you do on your shifting?
I didn't. I explained to him that I really couldn't drive and that, you know, he should not trust me for his life.
Jordana Brewster and Michelle Rodriguez stepped up to the plate. I mean, they didn't have driver's license, didn't drive, yet both of them came out and learned how to do it.
By the end of the day, I was peeling out, doing donuts, 360s, and it was all good.
What did piss me off, though, is that you couldn't go faster than 80 miles an hour.
There's no such thing as a safe squib shot.
Fire in the hole. Action!
We tried to do a lot, and we did do a lot, just when we thought we were Evel Knievel. These guys would do things that you didn't even think were humanly possible.
My name's Mike Justice, and I'm the stunt double for Matt Schultz. They're gonna hijack this big rig. He's gonna transfer from a Honda car, climb up on top of it, jump from the back of the Honda onto the front of the truck. He gets kind of hung up. Cars come up to try to rescue him off the truck, and his character gets swung around. What we're doing now is tying in the actors.
I'm Matt Schultz, and I play Vince.
Now we've got him hanging onto the side of the truck, doing some of the actions at speed, 55 to 65 miles an hour.
A highly dangerous stunt that's normally performed by professionals. But I was called in to handle the job today without any previous experience.
We have to always, push it a little bit and be out there and do really sharp stuff. Type ramps have been done a lot of times, but not as realistic as we've done. You'll swear the Charger hit a truck.
I didn't think it was possible. And these guys pulled it off.
Action-packed show. It's going to do real well.
1, 2, 3. Can't get my arm free.
Now, I think those shots give you the idea. There's one shot that kind of lingers on the wire cutting into his arm. So the question's whether it's a cumulative thing.
See, later on, too, we've got a real big close-up of it where it looks like it's cut his arm in half, haven't we?
Yeah, and I'm thinking that I think that here the audience has gotten it subliminally, that wire is wrapped around his arm and has cut his arm. Without the one that looks like it's cut it to the bone is the one that I think is too much. That one.
That's the one.
There we go.
That's the bastard. Okay, cool.
That's one.
That's the one, isn't it? That's the offender.
That's really the offender. We're working to try to earn our PG-13 rating, and although the MPA will not tell you what to do, they have indicated that the violence and blood factor on this truck is too intense for the rating. So Peter and I are working to keep the integrity of the sequence, but get that PG-13 because it's very important that the young end of the spectrum of the audience, those kids who cannot drive yet, who have a big desire to drive and learn about cars and speed and all the things that this picture's about, for them to be able to see the movie. No, that's not. God, I never would have thought that would have gotten them upset.
We're keeping it for 14 frames at the moment.
Well, what happens if we take, 5 frames off of it?
Okay.
Let's see how it looks. Well, that is still effective. He covers it very quickly.
Yeah. I don't think we've lost any of our impact if they'll
No.
accept it.
No, okay, so the question is, since we see them here, do we need this?
Let's try and...
You know, because we could go right to the next event, which is the shotgun. We don't need, we see him squiggling around on the, I mean, this is what makes it gruesome, is the guy in pain, you know, I think.
Well, they can't say we're not trying to eliminate
No,
some of their problems either.
I think we've trimmed the scribble shot, we've cut one complete, we've lifted one arm shot, and now I think it's a matter of watching ourselves and trying to find shots which don't feature it.
Okay.
Like, it's not worth it for Don't Leave Me to, you know, get a PG, get an R rating, you know.
Vince! Dominic! Don't leave me! Don't leave me!
Well, that one could be, you could take that one out, Governor, because then we now go to another event.
Yeah, why don't we drop
the second one?
Yeah.
Vince! Dominic! Don't leave me!
So that's how editing, in the case of dealing with the MPAA, we've mitigated the intensity of violence on the truck sequence to be more acceptable to the terms and conditions of getting a PG-13, which is very, very important for this.
Wow. Yeah, my dad built her 900 horses of Detroit muscle. There's something very interesting about Dom's car. The real car that he loves is coveted. It's garage. That's his dad's car. It's something that he created. It is something in his heart, and that's an emotional car.
The Charger, you know, Dom's car, he's afraid of it. You know, he's afraid of what it can do, and, you know, on some level, he's afraid of what he can do.
Everybody loved that car with the Hemi and the Supercharger. I mean, you know, everybody loves that thing. When it starts up, pulls out.
The Charger, you know, almost killed him in the first movie.
Just when you thought that was it was a tie, it's over, bang.
The shot where my Charger flips over is done by some of the best stunt coordinators. I will forever be in awe.
When we did the final climactic big pipe ramp, you know, pipe ramps have been done a lot of times, but not as realistic as we've done.
This is all done live, done real, no CG, one take. A very strong stunt, but one that was worthy to be the last stunt in the movie.
Just like old times.
If you bring Vin Diesel back, you need to bring that Charger back with him.
We're going to see Vin's Charger from the first one rebuilt.
I think it was a very good call.
You know, you bring that back because not only is it just an awesome-looking car, but there's something more to it. You know, it tells a story. It represents the soul of Dom, you know? It's definitely overpowered like he is.
Chargers were extremely hard to find. We basically, with those cars, we actually bought total rust buckets. I mean, cars that typically you wouldn't want to purchase for a restoration job.
Yeah, this is actually what you have. Other film, but we did lower the whole assembly.
Is this something that you guys are building, or is this something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with these cars is they're obviously, you know, hard to come by. Parts are very rare and very, very costly. And we needed, I think, you know, at the end of Fast and Furious 4, I think we went through probably 8 of these cars. When we first started putting these cars together, just front fenders, we were paying $700, $800 for a less than perfect fender. And then we just realized, you know, we're never gonna have enough. There's just not enough out there. So we had a company actually build a mold, and we just created everything out of fiberglass. So the whole front clip in the car is something that within, you know, 2 days, we could have an entire front clip for a very economical price. You know, we resheeted them with new doors, new quarter panels, filled the roofs with lots of Bondo. I mean, it was great for us to get the first one done here and go out and test drive it. I mean, it looked great. This is more the final version of the car. When they actually completed in that sequence to go back down to Mexico, the car is actually in a primer state. Once again, as you can imagine, this car had a ton of action in the film, so they had to be built to handle a lot of abuse, especially with the terrains we were involved in on this one. You know, rocks, creeks, you name it. So we try to make all the cars as easily serviceable as possible. And to do that, they went with a basic Chevy crate motor, 350, and turbo 400 transmission, you know, Ford 9-ish like every other car we have on the film, Willwood brakes. And the beauty of doing that is, for instance, if they crash a Torino, we can pull the motor and transmission out and we can put it into a Charger. And overall, this car was the car that I was probably the most concerned with on the film. I thought, God, these things are going to be dropping like flies, just because they're not made for that type of abuse. It's a unibody car, and like I say, the jumps and bumps and everything else they were doing these things, I thought for sure they'd be one of our biggest downfalls. But as it turned out, the cars really never let us down, and they were subjected to some unbelievable abuse. But they kept on going.